Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Verses 11 to 27 unfold the nature of the I through understanding that which is invariable when we talk of the I. What is invariable? Body, yes? No. Mind? No. Senses? No. So like this we keep doing what is called in Sanskrit nishedha. In Sanskritam it is called nishedha, negation. But this is very dangerous because when you negate, you should know what you are negating. And if you keep negating, then there is nothing left to talk about. That is not the idea. In fact, even though it's called negation, technically it's not really negating anything. It is more in the sense of sifting, parting, to make sure that what we call anatma, not I, is not mixed up in the I. That is the idea. And this atma, anatma, I mean, it should seem very clear. What I am not should be very clear. Nobody says I am as good as my house. Nobody says that. But there is some kind of a tadatmya, identification. My house doesn't take long to become me house. That's what happens. If anybody criticizes the house, then you get angry at the person because you feel criticized yourself. And same thing. I was walking and the person had a very nice dog. I said, nice dog. And the person said, thank you. I was appreciating the dog, not the person, but the person has, a love for the dog and identification with the dog. And so it's not, and the delineation, the negation is all cognitive. It's a cognitive pursuit. The negation is cognitive primarily because it cannot be any other way. How else are you going to negate? If supposing you wanted to negate a flower, we have a flower here. Let's see if we have it. Yes, we have a flower here. And then we have a pot. Okay. So I can easily tell you that the two are different, even though sometimes we say flower pot, but still the two are different. They look nothing like each other. And this one is still alive and this one is insentient. And like this, there are so many differences. But Atma and Anatma, with regard to the body-mind-sense complex, is not so easy to negate. Because otherwise we could say that put your Atma on this side and put everything that is variable and changing on the other side, and then that is Atma. Because the two are in the same location. In the same location. That indweller which obtains as the body within the body-mind-sense complex is Atma, and then it is indwelling this body-mind-sense complex, which is not I, Anatma. All the problems of samsara, of the world, of the individual are because the I and the not I are mixed up. Like the space within the pot. Can we agree that the pot has space inside it? Yes. And can we agree that it be called pot space? Yes. So the pot space here, it says I'm small, pervading. I'm not all pervading. I have, I want to get out of here. I want an out-of-body experience. I want to do something. I want to be bigger than this. And let's say there is a space guru, not a space doubt guru, okay? A space guru. And what will the space guru teach? You are not the pot. Even now you are free. You don't have to go like this and try to come out. You don't have to break the pot in order to, quote unquote, realize yourself. You don't have to do anything. You just have to understand this, that you are not just pot space. In fact, pot is in you, so to speak. You are not in the pot. Pot is in you. You turn it upside down. And so in the similar way, the student has to be taught that he is not the pot. No, that the student has to be taught that he is not the sum total of the body, the mind, and the senses. Is not that. And so this is what is happening, and it's difficult because it cannot be materially separated. It has to be cognitively separated. And it's very difficult because as long as something is outside of the body, you are able to have some objectivity. You see some donuts. Oh, they are very nice, but they are not for me. Thank you very much. But then you eat those same donuts, and then you come to the strange conclusion, I am fat. This. So the donuts have become one with you. You have attained oneness with, with the donuts in a strange way. And then same thing, whatever it is. As long as it's on the counter, it's somewhere else, it is fine. You just say, oh, look at those donuts. They look delicious. Then you go closer to them to have a closer look. And that was the first mistake because it doesn't stop at that. After that, it is totally assimilated. You attain oneness with the donut. And then what? And then you become a nut. That's all it is. You just come to wrong conclusions about the body, about oneself. I am as good as the body. Same thing, the air outside is fine. It's air. It's nothing to do with me. It's air. But as soon as you breathe it in, it becomes my prana. And if I don't get enough air, oh, I'm hyperventilating. Oh, something is wrong. I am dying. This is the confusion. So Adi Shankara, in his very classic work, the introduction to the Brahma Sutra, called the Brahma Sutras, are some analytic statements about the Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita, which are these sutras in kind of aphorism forms. They are taught at the end of the pursuit. And so there, introducing that, he gives a wonderful introduction. He says this is the I and the not I are so different, completely different. There is no reason to confuse the I with the not I. They share nothing in common. In fact, there are 5 differences between the I and the not I. And when we analyze each of them carefully, you find that the mistake should not even be possible at all. So what are the differences between the I and the not I? The first one is that it is the I is never an object. Anatma is an object, is objectifiable through various means of knowledge. You can objectify the not I, but you can never objectify the I. So that is the first one. And then the not I is made up of various parts and elements. It's put together. It has parts. The I, no parts. Second difference. Third difference, the not I is subject to all, is that will come later, is full of attributes. Savikaratvam, full of attributes, full of gunas, attributes. Tall, short, thin, fat, long, big, small, these are all attributes. Anatma enjoys attributes. Atma, I, am attribute-less. How many? That's the third difference, correct? Third difference. And then we have that the not I is subject to vikara. Vikara means modifications, changes. How many are there? What? 6. Okay. Whoever said 4, see me after class. And so 6 vikaras, 6 modifications. Everything is subject to birth. And then after birth, of course, there is death. And those are the 2 slices of bread. In between, there is a sandwich of 4 elements. And what are they? It survives birth. It grows up. It blossoms. And then decays, caves in. And then finally, vinashyati, dies. So everything that we call anatma is subject to these 6 modifications. Atma is subject to how many modifications? Only 2. No, not even one. Not even one. Na jagate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nityasyashvato yam puranah na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Where is this from?
Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. And for once you are right. Okay. Which chapter? 2. We have just finished this verse in the Bhashya class. So this is, it's neither born nor does it die. It simply is, and it is I. I simply am. I'm not subject to birth. I'm not subject to death. And if the birth and death are knocked off, then you cannot say, oh, it grew up. How can it grow up without being born? Oh, it decayed. How can it decay? We decay without growing up. So all the other modifications also, when birth and death are knocked off, for the Atma, for the I, all the other 4 modifications are also knocked off. Whereas all the other things, sentient or insentient, so, in the universe, they have these 6 attributes. Sorry, not attributes, vikaras, modifications. Everything is born or is put together. It has a birthday, even like a cup. And even the pot has its birthday. We don't know what it is. That's why we are not celebrating. But the pot has a birthday. The day that it was crafted by the potter, and maybe out of a whim, he or she made a small pot and then put in the kiln, and it came out. That is the birthday. That is the birthday of this of the pot. Okay, that is the birthday. And the day it becomes a crackpot, dashed to the ground. That is the death day. Ram Nam Satya Hai. We take out the procession like that. It is gone. And in between, it is hit against something and it wears out and all these things. So other modifications are there. And so not all the things will have all the modifications, but 3 or 4 they'll definitely have. Birth and death, they'll definitely have. And so this is unlike the I, which is free of birth, free of death, and then free of all other modifications in between. How many points now? 4 points of difference between I and not I. And lastly, everything else that is not I is finite. I am infinite. So these are the 5 points of difference. How can one confuse the I for the not I? Well, it just happens. Exactly. It happens due to Atma Ajnanam, ignorance of the I. When the I is not known, it is mistaken for the not I, which coexists with the I in all situations. like the body, mind, etc. It's taken to be one takes oneself to be what one is not. So the negation has to be done carefully. It's not like a random negation or some kind of a mindless negation. It's a negation that's extremely mindful. A mindful negation where it's not so much a negation as much as an affirmation of the I as different from all these points. And in the process of this affirmation, the negation takes place. That is what it is. The point is not negation. We are not trying to negate anything. We are trying to affirm the I, and the only way to affirm the I, because it is mixed up in the not I, is to delineate that and say this is different from that in these 5 possible ways. This is a pedagogical technique. And this is how one understands, this is how one learns, this is how one knows. And so, this is, with these words, let us look at some of these verses. Did we finish 11? Yes. Anyway, we'll read it together. Antahkarana tadvritti. Sakshi Chaitanya Vigraha. Ananda Rupa Satyasan. Kinnatmanam prapadyase. This student was given a suggestion by the teacher. Why don't you look upon yourself as the Satchidananda Atma? And what is this Satchidananda Atma? For something that doesn't have attributes, it already looks like there are 3 attributes. Sat, Chit, Ananda, explain yourself. How is this possible? How is this possible? 3 attributes are there. How is this possible? Yeah, they are not attributes. They are definitions. That's the big difference. If they were attributes, then people would have competition. I'm more Sat than you, I'm more Chit than you, and I'm definitely more Ananda than you. So they are not attributes. There's a difference between an adjective, using an adjective and then defining something. The purpose of the adjective is to distinguish one thing from other things in its own class. Swajatiyebhyah vishayebhyah vyavartakam visheshanam. What is that? What I just said in English, I translated in Sanskrit. It's the job of the adjective is to distinguish things from its own class. Tree. Tree is a jati, it's a class. And then out of the tree, you have so many trees. Tall tree, leafy tree, deciduous tree. And then you have certain other ficus jati in the tree. Ficus religiosa, people tree, I was talking about this people tree. And somebody thought it's a tree full of people. So it's not that kind. It's not that. People is the native name for the ficus religiosa. So ficus religiosa, and then so many things. So many Latin names are there like this. So this is how you distinguish one tree from another tree. And then we have, same thing with the flower. We have the famous example in the Taittiriya Upanishad of what kind of flower? Lotus, lily. Big, blue, fragrant lily. Bring me the big lily. So many lilies or big lilies are there. Which one? Bring me the big blue one. The blue one. Oh yeah, okay, there is one big blue lily. But then there are many big blue lilies on the other side there. Now, which one should I bring? Bring me the most fragrant one. So this way, it is to distinguish things from its own class. The attributes help us to distinguish that. Whereas Lakshana, or the definition, the implied meaning about which we talked at length yesterday, the implied meaning, Lakshana here, is not distinguishing it from anything. It is just defining it. How to distinguish I from other things? There are no other things. What other things are there? Which is like the I? Nothing. That which is sentient, that which is forever, that which is neither subject to birth nor subject to death, that which is present, and that which is self-aware. How many things do you know? That are like that? And if you raise your hand, again, see me after class. So, what else to say? So, there is no other I. It doesn't need distinction. It doesn't need to be distinguished at all. So, the adjectives have to just be buried when we talk about the I. Adjectives have no place, none whatsoever. Then what to do? The only thing there is to do is to look at it as a definition. Just like when you what else is there like the Atma? There's only one of it, and there is, and then it has a definition, space. There's only one space, correct? Not counting the one in our heads. There's only one space. And that space, it cannot be compared to anything else. There is no need to distinguish it from other things. So if you want to define space, you can say that which accommodates is space. You see? You take the implied meaning, you take the invariable, it always accommodates. Tomorrow it's not going to say, get out of this house, it belongs to me. I own this house, I am space. So therefore, it's unchangingly accommodative. It's invariably accommodative. And so therefore we say, this is not a distinction. It's not an adjective. That which accommodates is space. It's not an adjective to space. It is what is that? It is a definition. And that definition here is called Lakshana. The Atma likewise has three definitions. One is I am. That is my presence is the first definition. I am. And that is called Sat, existent. I am means I exist. And then the next question comes, how do you know? How do you know you exist? Do you have a certificate to prove it? I simply know. So when you say I am, I know is inextricably linked in that I am. The amness is the knowingness of my existence. So I am, when you say, that means you're already self-aware and you already know that you are. I know I am. And what kind of a knowing is it? It is a knowing that never becomes not knowing. I know I am. I know that I don't know Chinese. I know that I don't know Greek languages. But I know. Even my ignorance, I am objectifying, meaning that knowledge, I have knowledge of my ignorance. The ignorance is relative, the knowledge is absolute. That's why you can say, I have knowledge of my ignorance. It is so, therefore, up till now, Sat-Chit means I am a knowing being. I am a knowing being, a conscious being, a knowing being, a self-aware being. My existence, I do never have to corroborate, never ever have to ratify, and the existence of other things depend on me for their ratification. This is the, this is why we have all these kovans. Kovan? And then the tree, redwood tree falling in the forest. Does it make a sound? So you can have two answers here. Of course, it makes a sound because it's following the law of physics. If something of that particular volume is in space, if it falls at this particular velocity and it hits the ground, a sound is produced. One can say that. But then, if there are no pairs of ears to ratify that sound, is the sound unheard? Is an unheard sound a sound? Very interesting. Yeah. If it is not heard, how can it be a sound? That means what? The tree falling in the forest, I make it real by hearing it. I hear that. And so I bring that to light. Every single phenomenon in the universe I bring to light. But there is no light that brings my existence to light other than myself. I am self-lit and everything depends on me for its existence. Sat Chit, I am a knowing being. I am the only source of this consciousness, this consciousness, this knowledge. And the I in me is the I in you, is the I in he, the I in she, the I in it. One I in many bodies, many minds, many senses, many avataras. Thankfully, that movie called Avatar came out. After that, I never have to define what it is. So this is the thing. So I'm a knowing being, I'm a conscious being, a self-conscious, self-aware being who is aware of oneself and to whom everything becomes evident. Everything becomes evident to me alone. Then what? After that, then we have one more word. Sat Chit Ananda. This one is little dicey. Because Ananda means happiness. How can you say, I am Ananda? Don't you see my face? Don't you see I'm suffering? Don't you see that nothing is going my way? How can you say I am Ananda? Actually, it's not Ananda, it is Ananta. It is just translated as Ananda because there has to be some way of grabbing onto that and making it relatable. Ananta means infinite, limitless, never ending. How can you say the I is never ending? Because how can you be sure that when the body ends, the I doesn't end? For the simple reason that the body also doesn't end. It's transformed. It's transformed. It becomes compost. So much so that when we are eating potatoes, we may be eating our great-grandparents. Yeah, becomes compost. That is how the cycle of life continues. That is why the body is either cremated or put under the ground as an offering through the soil. This is what it is. And so therefore, it is this Ananta. Nothing in the universe you can put. You cannot introduce a new thing. Physicists will tell us this. And nothing can even be taken out. Nothing can be taken out. Nothing can be introduced. All we see are things transforming. This Webb telescope has taken out some very nice pictures. So nice. There is one cartwheel galaxy. You feel like riding on it. It looks like what is that called? Ferris wheel. Very nice. And then there is a nursery of where all the stars are born. Very nice photograph. And if you look closely, you can see individual cribs for each baby star. So this is all just, but who is the one who is looking at this infinite universe? That infinity is you. That is you. And the universe is infinite because you are infinite, and the universe is resting on the borrowed infinity, borrowed from your own existence, which never comes to an end. A conscious being which never comes to an end, which continues always. So when you cannot put matter into the universe or take matter out, then what to talk of this conscious being? How can you come to an end? How is that even possible? All that is there is transformation upon transformation upon transformation. That's what it is. And it's all just happening when? Now, now, now. By the time you say now, the body has aged. You are the same. Another now, the body has aged a little more. You are the same. You're not subject to birth and death. What to talk of aging or any kind of changes? That is why it is Ananta. And since one wants to be forever, that Ananta is converted to go along with the human yearning for happiness, because the forever is associated with happiness. That's why whenever any happy event happens, immediately we ask, is it forever? Somebody says, oh, my daughter got a job. Oh, is it permanent? They will ask in India. No, she has to be on probation for 3 months, and then after that they will do something for another 3 months, and then maybe it is permanent. Really? How can a job be permanent when the body itself is not permanent? But this is how we say. Oh, this is my house. Do you own it? And you proudly say, yes, I own this place. Actually, the bank has the deed. Yeah, indeed. And you are just paying every month, scraping together things and paying it. That is what you're doing. You don't really own the house, but the feeling is, I own it. Or why should that feeling be there? Because if you're renting it, let's say the mortgage and the rent are exactly the same amount. If you're renting it, you feel irate. Oh, it's going to somebody else. But if you're paying mortgage, oh, it's always going to become mine. There is some satisfaction in that. Oh, finally, it is going to become mine. It is already mine. And so therefore, here, the identification with everything finite is the problem, because I try to make the finite infinite. How does that work out? Not very well. Not at all well. I try to make the finite infinite. What is finite? Everything. And that was the last point of difference between I and not I. Everything is finite. The one who says everything is finite happens to be infinite. And so that infinite, in order to make one understand and relate to the everyday life, is turned or switched by the Upanishad herself, by the Shastra itself, to say Ananda. The Ananta is changed into Ananda for the time being, so that one can relate. Otherwise, limitless, eternal. We don't have a concept of eternity. It's just like when the young adults say, oh, I have been waiting for you eternally, meaning I have been waiting for you for 5 minutes. Why are you late? We don't have a concept of eternity other than what is in time. Even eternity is time bound for us. We don't have that concept. So therefore, it is made into Ananda, something joyous and joyful. That means because the joy is hinging upon that infinity. That's why everything has to be forever. In the 6th marriage also, when they exchange the vows, this time it is forever. This is what they will say. Everything is forever, should be forever. So the whole life is a striving to make the finite infinite. And the infinite, which I already am, which I'm waiting to be known, is not understood and not known because I'm so busy trying to make the finite infinite. That is why here it is called Ananda. And the teacher says, what does the teacher say? The teacher says very nicely that this is what you have to understand. So, Antakarana Tadvritti Sakshi. So you recognize yourself as an embodiment of that which is present, that which is all knowledge, and that which is limitless. joy. Why don't you look upon yourself that way? And in order to, how to do that? How can I look upon myself in this way? Is explained in the next verse. Satyananda Swarupam Dhi Sakshinam Jnana Vigraham Chintayatmataya Nityam Chintayatmataya Nityam Tyaktva Dehadigam Dhyam. Yeah, it should be Dehadigam, not Dehadigam, because it's qualifying Dhyam, so it's singular, not plural. It's a mistake. One more time. Satyananda Swarupam Dhi Sakshinam Jnana Vigraham Chintayatmataya Nityam Tyaktva Dehadigam Dhyam. So, Satya Ananda Rupam. So, this Satchidananda Rupa. So, Satya and Ananda is here in the first word, and then Jnana Vigraham. Jnana means Chit. Okay. So, all three are there. Satya, Jnana, Ananda Rupam. That which is in the form of the presence, which is yourself. What other presence is there? It's you. That presence. And then what else is there? That presence which happens to be in the form of knowledge. I know. I am. I know. And then what else is there? And then I am forever. Ananda. You please catch hold of this fellow. The one that is Satyananda Swarupa, one that is Jnana Vigraha, means the incarnate, consciousness incarnate. Self-awareness, awareness, incarnate, consciousness, incarnate. Please catch hold of that one. And give yourself a new, this is a makeover. Okay, yeah. This is a Vedanta makeover. Give yourself a new identity. Give yourself a total makeover. You deserve it. You have been wallowing in finitude for too long. Give yourself a complete makeover. And then what? But in order to do that, you have to let go of a few things. Yaktva, having given up. Having given up what? What? Dehadi gam dhyam. So first, you have to, the dhyam means thinking. The buddhi that is connected to, attached to, involved with, identified with the body. Adipadat, the adi means mind, senses, all these things. So that body, that mind, those senses, etc., usually that's how one defines the I. And one is wallowing in that I and coming to needless grief. I'm as good as the body. And so I don't like the body means what? I don't like myself. I don't like my thinking. I don't like myself. I don't like the mind. Therefore, I don't like myself. This is the problem. And so withdraw the identification from those habitual ways in which one identifies with this, with the I, and then repatriate the I back to Satchidananda. The I here means the I notion, ahankara. So the I notion, which is normally connected with the body, involved with the mind, identified with the senses, has to be pried from those identification because it's holding on tight. So one by one, one finger you pry, another finger you pry, third finger, fourth finger, almost got it. Then the other first three are already gone. And then these two are left. And then again you take it out and then these catch hold of it. Very difficult because the ahankara is afraid of decimation. It's afraid of just being nothing and nobody. And in fact, it secretly thinks, I am nobody. That is its secret and most pervasive, most prominent fear. That I am nobody. OMG, I'll become nobody. And that's why Vedanta is frightening, because it looks like it's going to just make me into a nobody. It's not true. It's like that king from a small town in India, Raipur. Rai means mustard seed, okay? And so Raipur means a tiny kingdom somewhere in the middle of India. So he was sleeping and he was woken up and said, oh, you won't believe it. What? He's still rubbing his eyes. You have been crowned the king of whole of India. Really? Yes. Is this true? Yes. Oh, I think I'm going to refuse. Are you out of your mind? What's wrong with you? What will have to happen to my little Raipur? Will I still be the king of Raipur? So here the whole glory of as the source of the universe, Ishvara as you, is being handed to you on a platter. And you say, what about this little body? What about this mind? What about these senses? Will I still get to be me? Madness, right? So this is what it is. That's why the ahankara doesn't like Vedanta at all. The ahankara is got a key which winds it up. Atma ajnanam, self-ignorance, winds up the ahankara. And it goes like a little clockwork mouse. That's what it is. Keeps going. Keeps riled up. So the I notion, is subject to flattery. But really speaking, where is the I notion? It's not available in autopsy, You cut the cadaver and it's not there. I notion, okay, ahankara, okay. The weight, they weigh and then they put it in chloroform. It's already in chloroform. That's the problem. It's anesthetized. And so this is the problem. The whole problem is with this, that the I notion is connected to, identified with every blessed thing that is finite. It's wallowing in finitude and it says, save me, take me out. And you take it seriously and you offer a hand, it says, no. What about my little mud puddle? I won't get to keep it. But this is quicksand. This is not your mud puddle, you're drowning. Yeah, but I'm so used to it. I have put nameplates. This belongs to me everywhere. This is my quicksand. This is the problem. So even though there are doorways for it to open up to its own glory, the I notion refuses because it rather be with the safety of the bondage, the notion of bondage. The I notion cannot even be objectified very easily. It is Sakshi Pratyaksha. It is available for objectification internally. Because when one is hurt, one can say, oh, the ego is doing a number. This is what happens. But the I notion is really not there. Ultimately, it is mithya. The definition of I notion in Sanskritam is vicharam nasahate, meaning that which cannot withstand enquiry. Is ahankara, the I notion, is that which cannot withstand enquiry of any kind. Like the modern day politicians. They stand for office and then some scandal will come out. Some scandal or the other will come out and then they are disqualified. So they go with the tail between their legs. They say, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll withdraw my candidacy, etc., etc. And they go away. Same thing with the ahankara. Same exact thing. It as soon as you inquire into it, where are you? Who are you? Why are you acting like a boss when you're not even really there? And then it just like, when you turn on the light after coming home, the cockroaches go somewhere and hide in the dark. Yeah, for their own survival. Cockroaches and other creepy crawlies that have come out to play. They're having a party, you interrupted it. And then you turn, this in India happens. So here and all, this example doesn't work. And so, because in India, there are many shared spaces with 6 feet, Dvipadi, Chatushpadi, Ashtapadi, Navapadi, everything, with many two-legged, 6-legged, 8-legged ones. But you turn on the light and they all go scampering off. Not a sign there. The ahankara is just like these creepy crawlies, very sly. You do an inquiry, who are you, where are you, why are you bothering me? It says, so I'm not there. Who am I? I'm not there at all. This is what it does. But when you're not looking, it is running the show. It likes to be the puppeteer. And it wants to make you dance like this. It wants to have some level of command. Because it is powered by ajnanam, atma ajnanam, self-ignorance. Since I don't know who I am, I take myself to be the body. And there is solace in this finitude, but because at least I have this body. I have this body to call my own. I have the mind to call my own. I have the senses to call my own. This is the delusion. And so the ahankara is there as long as it's not questioned. The I notion dances and it makes you also dance. It tries to make the Sakshi dance, even though that is not, that is not even possible, but it still tries. Then what to do now? So now the teacher says, learn to delineate. Learn to delineate and overcome the fear of decimation, because you are really not being decimated. You are being repatriated to and equated to the cause of the universe, which is whole, which is free, which is you. And so how can you, but will I still have this body? Where else will it go? It will still be there. Don't worry. You will still be dragging it around. The only difference is it will not define you. And so the teacher is saying, learn to make this distinction. So, Satyananda Swarupa, Dhi Sakshinam Jnana Vigraham. So catch hold of the witness. Catch hold of the witness, which is in the form of which is Satya Swarupa, which is Jnana Swarupa, which is Dhi Sakshi. Dhi Sakshi means that which can objectify the buddhi, which is Dhi Sakshi. And then Jnana Vigraha, which is the incarnation of consciousness, awareness. Chintaya. Chintaya means it doesn't mean think. Chint, to think. No, here, contemplate, identify. Atmataya, in Itham Bhute Tritiya here, in the form of yourself. Think of this Satchidananda as the definition of yourself, nothing else. And in order to do that, small inconvenience, you have to let go of Dehatma Buddhi. You have to let go of thinking that you are as good as the body, as good as the mind, and as good as the senses. Easier said than done, correct? Yeah, not so easy. Because this is an old habit, many lifetimes ago. And the old habit is, of course, powered by self-ignorance. And so this is the old habit of thinking oneself to be finite, thinking oneself to be as good as all these things. Body, mind, senses, everything finite. One's possessions, one's people, and things, all these things. And so this is Dehatma Buddhi, Deha Eva Atma. The body itself is Atma, that kind of buddhi, that kind of thinking, you have to give up. in order to understand this, because you know, no pain, no gain. You have to give something up in order to get something. And so this is where you have to have some, you give up means you don't give up the body really. Cognitively, you give up the body. One page where it is, I think I should turn this over. Yes. So give up these misconceptions that you are as good as the body, etc., and contemplate upon yourself as that which is infinite, as that self-aware I who is infinite, who is all knowledge, and who is existent without needing to ratify this. And so think of yourself like that, and then this is what you need to do. And then how to do that is talked about in verse number 13. Actually, verse number 13, 14, and 15 kind of go together. So we'll be chanting all of them and then looking at them one by one. Rupadimanyatah pindaha tato natma ghatadivat viyadadi mahabhuta vikaratvacha kumbhavat anatma yadi pindoyam mukta hetu balanmatah karamala kavat sakshat atmanam pratipadaya घटद्रष्टा घटाद्भिन्नः not घटाद्रष्टा घटद्रष्टा घटाद्भिन्नः सर्वथा नो घटो यथा देहद्रष्टा तथा देहः नाहमित्यवधारय. This is a lot of very good reasonings and very nicely systematically explained. Let us look at that. So, Rupadi Manyatah. Rupadi Manyatah Pinda. Pinda means body. Pinda actually means lump. So then you can see what the ancients thought of the body. Yeah. Pinda means just a lump. And so the body is, perhaps they knew everybody will turn into couch potatoes in Kali Yuga. So they named it Pinda, just a lump. Meaning it's insentient by itself. Yeah, the body is not worried about putting on weight. You are worried about putting on weight. The body is not worried, oh, I'll get sunburned. You are worried that you will get sunburned. So like this, the body is inert unless it is blessed by Atma, the indweller. And so Rupadi Man. That is the word here. Rupadi Man. Yataha. Yataha means Yasmat Karanat. Because Pindaha, the body, Rupadiman. It has Rupa. Rupa means what? Form. It has Rupa. Adi means Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha, all these things. It has everything. Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha means it is objectifiable by many sense organs. It has form, it has name, it is available for sight, touch, various things. So Rupadiman Pindaha. So the Rupadiman masculine, Pindaha masculine, they go together. So Rupadiman Pindaha. The body has got form, is objectifiable, etc. Think of those five points here come into play. Those 5 points. Let us rehearse them, revise them. What are those 5 points? The body is an object. What is the other one?
Has parts.
Yeah, the body has parts.
Infinite. It's finite.
Yeah, if the body has attributes, the body is subject to change, and the body is finite, not infinite, finite. Whereas the Atma is what? Opposite of all of them. That is what is being pointed out here. So, Rupadiman Yataha Pindaha. Tataha, then again, Na Atma, but not the I. The I is completely different. It has neither form, nor attribute, nor name, nor is it subject to birth, nor is it subject to death, or any of the changes in between, nor is it finite, subject to finitude. So, Ghatadivat, Ghatadivat, Rupadiman Pindaha. Tataha na atma. That is the anvaya. If you want to put it in prose, that is how it will read. So this body, this lump, this clump, this lump of flesh, blood, bones, this assemblage is called Rupadiman. Rupadiman, yataha means because this body has got form, name, attributes, etc. And then, like what? The example is given, like even a pot. The pot has a name, the pot has form, the pot has a birthday, the pot will have a death day, and the pot has various changes, and the pot is objectifiable. Na ayam atma. This atma, the you are not an object, you are the subject, and that is as though mixed up in the objects, but you are not the object. This is what is told. Then, this is the first difference between the body and I. What is the difference? The body has form, etc. You don't have form and all those 5 things that we talked about. Then the body is an effect. You are not an effect. The Atma is not an effect. Viyadadi mahabhuta vikaratvat cha. Viyat means space. Adi means you bring in also, what else do you bring in? Fire, air, water, earth. You bring in the other 4 elements. So the body, like the kumbha, like the ghata means pot. Kumbha also means pot. So like the kumbha, the body also is a vikara, what is that? An effect of the 5 elements. The body is 70% water, they say, fluids, all kinds of fluids. Then there is air. Where? Everywhere. Yeah. No, that is space. I reserve that for space. Air between the joints. So you go like this and click, 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 sound comes. Then you open the mouth, another sound comes. So there is air between the joints, so many places. And then water, air, fire. That's why it has to be fed. It's called Vaishvanara, the Jatharagni, the stomach fire, digestive fire. And the fire is also in the form of temperature. 98.6, that is Agni, that is Agni Devata. Agni Deva saying, hello, I'm here. That's why he's called Jata Veda. Jate, Jate, Vidyate. Even as one is born, the doctor, the baby doesn't even cry in the beginning. The doctor just touches the baby. Oh, okay, temperature is there. It will be all right. It just needs a little spanking and it will cry, no problem. And then, because sometimes they siphon off some fluids, etc., and it cries. So this is Agni. So the body is a product of all these 5 elements. So Agni, earth. Where is the earth? Bones. Bones, earth. Water, fire, air. And then space, of course, in the hand. Space is there. So many places. Space between the joints, space between the organs. Stomach space, head space, all these things. So the body is a product of the 5 elements. And to the 5 elements, it will go after it's finished, whatever it's supposed to do. After the sentiency is withdrawn from it, that's what it does. It goes back to the 5 elements. Whereas the Atma, is it a product of the 5 elements? No, it is, in fact, we can even say it is the author of the 5 elements. It's not the product of the 5 elements. So therefore, that is the second difference. So in verse number 13, the teacher has pointed out 2 differences between the I and the not I, which we can easily plug into those 5 points which were earlier talked about. So those 2 differences are, the teacher has nicely pointed out. And then now that this is a very talkative student, okay, now has something to say in verse number 14, pipes up. Talkative disciple pipes up. And what does the disciple say? Let us find out. Anatma yadi pindaha ayam ukte hetu balan mataha. Hetu balan mataha means by the force of these arguments. Which arguments? The one you gave in verse number 13, oh dear Guru, the one you did that, oh dear teacher, dear preceptor, the one you gave in verse number 13. By the hetu balat mataha means by the force of that reasoning, force of that logic, by the strength of this logic that you have given. Anatma yadi pindaha ayam. Then karamalakavat sakshad atmanam pratipadaya. If the anatma, if the not I is like the body, etc., according to the reasoning furnished above. Above means where? Don't look up, okay? Yeah, above in verse number 13. In verse number 13, that which was the reasoning that was given. What were the reasoning? That there are many differences between the I and the body, and the body is a product of the 5 elements. One reasoning. The second reasoning, the first reasoning is that the body has form, etc., just like even a pot. It's objectifiable. So by the force of these reasoning, by the strength of this reasoning, anatma yadi pindaha, if the body is indeed not I'm kind of getting it, the student is saying. It gives a lot of feedback, the student. And I'm kind of getting it. I'm almost understanding it. But I want this knowledge in my hand. How? Kara amalakavat sakshat. Amalaka is what is that? Is a fruit. It's gooseberry. Amla, it's called. Myrobalan is the scientific name. Amalaki, Sanskrit name. Very healing. It has it's very healing, and it has a lot of digestive and wonderful properties. So this amla is, it grows on a thorny bush. But then when, if it is not ready and you try to pluck it, it will not come. But when it is ready, it just drops in. You just touch it and it drops in your hand. So there is a kind of a, in Vedantic circles, there is a kind of a, they have appropriated this saying, I know as well as having an amla fruit in the palm of my hand. So karamalakavat means sakshat, let me know this without a doubt, without a shadow of doubt, let me understand this, let me know this, as good as having the amla fruit in the palm of my hand. In fact, one of Adi Shankara's disciples is named Hasta Malakiya, by same reason, because he had this knowledge. It was so accessible to him, like even having the amla fruit in his hand. Sakshat means I want to demonstrate this self-knowledge. Poor fellow has little more to understand about not being objectifiable, etc., etc. I want to demonstrate that I have this knowledge as clearly as though I'm holding the amla fruit effortlessly in my hand. So please, Pratipadaya, teach me quickly. I want to understand this right now. I cannot wait. Give it to me right now. Why? Because I have been wanting this knowledge for many times, lifetimes. And so therefore, explain this to me right now. Anath, and what? Explain what? That is given in the first line. Anatma yadi pindaha ayam. If the not I is indeed this body, according to this force of these arguments given before. Because what did verse number 13 do? It delineated anatma. It did not talk about atma at all. If you look, if you look there, if you look at 13, Rupadiman yataha pindaha na atma. It negated. It negated the atma and it said anatma. Like even a pot, it has form, it is objectifiable. And number two, like even a pot, it is the product of the five elements. This is what was established. Not a word about atma. Student has been listening carefully and he says, anatma, I kind of understand, I kind of get it. Now give me the atma like a fruit in the hand. give it to me right now. And so the teacher responds in verse number 15. Ghatad drashta. What is drashta? See here, not see. Okay, see here. Ghata means pot. Ghatat bhinnaha means different from the pot. This is a very interesting logic. Whatever I objectify, the objectifier is different from that which is objectified. Ghatat drashta ghatat bhinnaha. So the seer of the pot, you cannot say, I am pot, because otherwise I won't be seeing the pot. I have a pot belly, you can say, but you cannot say, I am pot. And so seer of the pot is different from the pot. Seer of the cloth, different from the cloth. Seer of cat, different from cat. Hat, rat, mat, everything, bat. So the one who is observing has to be different from the object of observation. Because the pot cannot see itself. Why? Because it is insentient. That we have already seen this. There's only one source of sentience, and that happens to be the I. And then, so the anatma cannot recognize itself. Atma has to recognize anatma. And then here, ghatat drashta. Who is the ghatat drashta? Who is the seer? Atma or anatma? Atma. Even though it took long time, the correct answer came. So that is the Atma. Seer is the Atma, correct? But different. So the seer of the pot is not non-pot. Non-pot. Distinctly different from the pot. Sarvatha na ghataha yatha. At any time, that seer will never become pot. And it's not that the seer was pot yesterday and now is the seer of the pot. And then tomorrow will become pot again. No. Not possible. Seer always separate from the pot, never was mixed up with the pot. Not even in the slightest bit. Oh, I think this, I have a coating of clay. No, not at all. Had nothing to do with the pot. And then similarly, yatha, tatha, similarly, dehadrashta. Dehadrashta means what? Seer of the body. So the seer of the body. Oh, so do I have to stand in the mirror? Yes, you can do that as an experiment. Or you can just internally just scan the body. And then the seer of the observer of the body, the tatha dehaha na aham iti avadharaya. Dehaha na aham. So therefore, now see, I just love this interchange between the student and the teacher, because the student, it's like they are sitting and playing ball. The student says, give me, put me the ball is now in your court because you have only defined anatma. Give me atma as though I'm holding it in my hand. And the teacher says, ascertain this for yourself. Okay, the ball is back in your court. The teacher is not taking on the kind of a dysfunctional need of the student for everything to be explained, because certain things one has to do a little bit of what is called mananam, some kind of a contemplation, some kind of a self-inquiry in addition to the classes, and then arrive at the knowledge which has already been explained, arrive at that by negating certain things, etc. So here, ghatat drashta, ghatat bhinna, very old and wonderful logic, ancient logic. The observer of the pot is different from the pot. At no time is the observer one with the pot. And so, in the same way, the observer of the body is not I. The body is not I. The observer of the body cannot be the body. Iti avadharaya. This you must firmly ascertain. And we'll leave here the student to ascertain that until tomorrow. And then we'll see what all the teaching has in store for us. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate.
Om Shanti
Shanti Shanti Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Any questions? Yes.
I've been wanting to ask this question for a long time. It's taken me a long time to figure out what the question actually was. So, just from a standpoint that the Ishvara, myself, that is not an experience. So I'm trying to, because there's a point in my life when I had not a lot of body awareness. And then there was a point in my life where I became aware of the subtle body and how it interacts with the physical body and that buzzing sensation. And I was, I think, confusing the subtle body for Ishvara.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so even that
Yes.
is not.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, let's put it this way. Subtle body is Ishvara, all right, but Ishvara is not just the subtle body. Yeah, everything is Ishvara. So the question is?
So the subtle body and what I seem to be mistaking for Ishvara as an experience, because my body seems to be experiencing it. That subtle energy, it seems to be experiencing it. I have to then take a further step back and go, no, I'm just watching that happen.
Yes. When you watch that happen, there is a deeper thing that happens.
Yeah.
And that is you are aware. And you can go actually deeper. Yeah, that is the correct, you are on the right track. Any other questions? Yes.
How do guilt and hurt feed the ahankara?
How to feed the ahankara?
Yes, how do they feed the ahankara?
Who?
Guilt and hurt.
Oh, guilt and hurt. Oh, okay. I thought you were asking how should I feed the ahankara. So, guilt and hurt, they are, what should I say, rice and dal. And just like how they taste very good mixed up. See, one's own omissions and commissions. So you lament on your omissions. Why did I do this? Why did I not do this? Why on earth should I have done that? Why could I have not done this differently? That is, it keeps the ahankara in place, because the ahankara then says, I am the doer. I am the agent of action, and the action has gone wrong here. And so I am lamenting the wrongness of the action. So then, when that is guilt, hurt means I am upset because of other people's omissions and commissions towards me. You see, there's a difference. Guilt means I cannot stand my own omissions and commissions. Hurt means I cannot stand other people's omissions and commissions towards me. So you see, then other people, why did they not remember my birthday? Why did they not do this for me? All these things become a very big deal. So then there is hurt, and the hurt comes because the ahankara is made to think that it identifies with the bhokta. Bhokta means what? The experiencer or the recipient of other people's action. So in one, it is the first case, nominative case, karta, doer, and in the other one, it's the object case. It's the second case. What is that called? Accusative case. So it's the object of the sentence here. And so either whether one identifies as the agent of action or the recipient of other people's actions, it's a very sad story. The ahankara then identifies either as the doer or as the experiencer and causes grief. Did that answer your question? Yes?
Swamiji, following up on the same topic of child and adult, integrating the child.
Yeah.
And this I notion, ahankara.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if, it seems like it all distills down to being the witness. The Sakshi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you said, don't stop there. I'm wondering what the journey, maybe I'm moving ahead.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So what is beyond Sakshi? The content of the Sakshi. Sakshi is just a name for the seer or the observer because somewhere we have to start. And there are many things to see. And if we don't see them, we are caught up as them. Like I'm as good as the body. Better to watch the body than to think that I am the body. Better to watch the body than to be the body and then be subject to grief. So the watcher watched is a tentative identity. There, the watcher or the seer or the observer is a tentative identity. It's a placeholder till you can recognize the truth of yourself, and that witnessing is also dropped because the witness is there only in relation to something to witness. But when there is nothing to witness, in sleep, what is there to witness? Nothing. Are you there or not in sleep? You're very much there. Even though the Sakshi is asleep, Sakshi is in a causal form, but you are there. So you are not, the content of the Sakshi is you. But right now, in order to understand, you catch hold of the Sakshi because it's a safe place. Yeah. There is safety in Sakshita, in Sakshihood. There is safety because you can never be that which you observe. That is the logic here. We are going to study more tomorrow. Okay, all right. Yes, one more question. Yes.
With the same thing, so from Sakshi to self-abidance.
Yeah.
There's nothing there really to do, or right now we talked about maybe.
Yeah,
there's a process.
Yeah, there is a.
Sakshi to that's a placeholder.
Yeah.
There's nothing, no process as such.
Yeah, the process, there will be pedagogical methods. There will be, pedagogical devices along the way. And so the Sakshi is told that, there is nothing to, what else is there? That the whole Jagat is just an extension of you. What is it that you're watching? There's nothing other than you. See, the first step is to separate Atma, Anatma, and you are the watcher. This is baby Vedanta. This is what we just said, Vedanta baby talk. Goo, goo, ga, ga. This is what it is. But then it becomes duality. Watcher watched. Sakshi, witnessed. The duality must not be there even in the subtlest form. So what you have separated, you take back. That's why I said to Laurie, what did I say? I said, a subtle body is Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. Ishvara is not the subtle body. And so Sakshya, that which is watched, is Ishvara. Sakshi is also Ishvara. And Ishvara is neither Sakshi nor Sakshya, is neither witness nor witnessed. So like this, we have to see how to, we first separate for the sake of cognitive clarity. And when the clarity comes, then you integrate everything. That is the next step. That's when the Sakshi resolves in that in that integration. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anything else?